RAM prices are actually falling for the first time since October of last year when the RAM crisis started, and it's a wonderful, joyous thing to see as the AI bubble is bursting in real time. Couldn't happen to worse people out there, could it? 2 thumbs up from PC gamers. Welcome back to PC Builder. I'm Jason. Looks like Sam Altman and OpenAI failed to grab 40% of the world's DRAM supply. Turns out that a letter of intent, not the same thing as a contract. What does this mean for RAM prices, and is the AI bubble actually bursting? If you get value out of this video, please give it a like and of course subscribe for more cool PC content. Let's jump into it. This video is sponsored by Seasonic. For PC enthusiasts looking for ultimate performance, Seasonic's flagship Prime TX 1300 delivers. ATX 3.1 and PCIe 5.1 compatible with 1300 watts powering even the most insane PC builds. The Prime TX 1300 now comes with an updated 12-volt 2x6 cables for increased safety and reliability with RTX 50 series GPUs. And Seasonic's digital fan control means the PSU stays cool and quiet under load. If you were looking for no compromises performance in power, thermals, and noise, check out Seasonic Prime TX 1300 using the link in the video description. All right, Akash Gupta here has a really good tweet just basically recapping the situation, how the RAM crisis started. Back in October of last year, Sam Altman basically signed deals with both SK Hynix and Samsung, 2 of the 3 major RAM providers out there, cornered 40% of global RAM supply. However, these were just letters of intent. These were not actual contracts or even purchase orders, but based just on that news alone that Sam Altman announced, everybody freaked out. All the other AI hyperscalers went out to try and sign their own deals with this. All the OEMs like Dell, Lenovo, Acer, others, they went out and got consumer RAM, and suddenly RAM prices absolutely exploded as everybody freaked out about this. But as Akash here points out, the Stargate expansion that OpenAI had earmarked for hundreds of billions of dollars. Bloomberg reported it was a $500 billion project that basically it hasn't started. And not only has it not started, it looks like a lot of it may be shelved now. OpenAI is not going to be purchasing that 40% because they've got cash flow problems. A lot of their data centers have been revised down from 1.4 trillion to maybe 600 billion to maybe we'll just kind of rent them from Microsoft and Amazon out there. They're killing off major products right now. For instance, Sora. Sora was their video project that they launched in December. They signed a $1 billion deal with Disney around this. And oh, look at this great thing. It didn't even survive 4 months. Here we are on March 28th, and OpenAI has just completely gotten rid of it. It uses too much compute, it's too expensive, and they're getting zero revenue. And this is the problem for these AI hyperscalers. They cannot figure out how to take what they're doing with AI and monetize it in such a way that's going to pay for even a fraction of all these data centers that they say that they're going to build, like something like $700+ billion just this year. They haven't even hit commitments for previous years, which we'll talk about in just a moment. So how is this news being received by people who invest in these companies? Because they have been supplying literally endless money to these companies so far. Well, it looks like the jig is up. Let's take a look at the stock price for Samsung Electronics. Oh, they're down 10% in the last 5 days. That's a huge drop. It's a correction style drop. Let's look at SK Hynix. Oh, they're down 12% in the last 5 days. Well, what about the other one, big one, Micron? Micron is down 20% in the last 5 days. What's going on? Not only is there a continued realization, or I guess an emerging realization, these companies are not going to be, these AI hyperscalers are not going to be able to purchase all this RAM that they say that they're going to purchase, but that there are a lot of other things going on as well, including, and we should just throw this one in there, DDR5 memory prices might also be sinking because it might be possible due to Google's new Turboquant, it might be possible to actually use up to 6 times less RAM for AI purposes. Now, I don't want to get into the weeds on this particular one. There is some debate whether or not this is actually going to have an impact in terms of the hyperscalers themselves, or this more like on-device AI, like running it on your phone or something like a Raspberry Pi. This is for inference, not for training. There's another big difference there. So I don't want to make this sound like this is the only reason that this thing is falling. However, combined in with the fact that these AI hyperscalers are not buying up these significant quantities of HBM RAM, which remember, HBM RAM is so much much harder to make. It takes so many more wafers than just a regular DRAM module out there. That's another reason that the RAM supply is in trouble, because they're using way more wafers for the high bandwidth memory, the HBM memory that these AI data centers want, than they would for a corresponding number of DDR5 or DDR4 sticks out there. All right, let's jump into RAM prices for April 2026. Now, the last time we took a look at this is our best CPU for gaming video in March, just a couple weeks ago. And I noted at the time that RAM prices for a la carte kits, that means buying them separately, not with combo deals, had come down quite a bit. Now, of course, you got to remember that if you want to buy RAM, I would strongly recommend you buy a RAM combo kit. And I did note that not only can you find these in the US now, you can find them at retailers all over. I will link a big spreadsheet down in the video description with the locations for each one that you can check out. But you can get a kit of, like, for instance, with a CPU and a motherboard of 16 gigabyte DDR5 for $429. It basically makes the RAM like $60 or $70 as opposed to the prices that I'm about to show you. And similarly for 32 gigabyte kits, we were finding ones where they were essentially even free. Now, for separate kits, I found that DDR4 and DDR5 prices had largely come down only in the space of a month. DDR4 had come down about $5 for a 16 gigabyte kit. Meanwhile, $20, about 10% of its value, for a 32 gigabyte kit of DDR4. And DDR5 16 gigabyte kits had also lost about 10% of their value, from $250 down to $230. But unfortunately, DDR5 32 gigabyte kits had not come down at the time. They remained stubbornly right around $360 to $370 for the lowest price models. All right, let's start off on the DDR4 front. The bellwether kit that I tend to look at, the Silicon Power X Power kit that had been like $137, almost $140 a couple of months ago, has now fallen back to $123, even cheaper than it was when we looked at it for the best CPU video as well. So that's a pretty good sign for a 16 gigabyte kit of DDR4. Then, of course, there are even cheaper kits out there right now. Here's one of them. $119 if you take away the $30 promo code. So we are seeing DDR4 pricing, at least on the 16 gigabyte modules, fall. But then I was like, oh my goodness, look at this. And this is sold and shipped by Silicon Power on Amazon, by the way. This is not some crazy third-party seller out there. $200. And it's not even their spring sale anymore. This is like still on sale for $199. This is 3,200 mega transfers and it's CL16 RAM out there. So it's not even some crazy bad timings. This is a great kit you could use right now for $200. And I believe these kits, remember, these kits were like $230, $240 just a couple months ago. And now they're falling all the way back to $200. I think these kits might continue to decline in the near future. We'll talk about should you buy now or should you wait. And a lot of it might have to do with, again, an influx of DDR4 and a number of companies not actually stopping production of DDR4 because it's been profitable once again. All right, checking in on DDR5 RAM prices right now. I'm still seeing the majority of the kits kind of weighted around $230-ish for a 16 gigabyte kit of DDR5. But one thing I want you to notice before we go on some of the lower price kits, which are pretty shocking in terms of their pricing, is that look how many of these kits are now available. It was just the story just a couple months ago where you scrolled through this and it was like not that many kits on Newegg right now, but now you're seeing tons and tons of them. But you can find some of these kits now for as low as $210, often $199, although I will say the $199 deals, this is a $209 deal after the $40 promo code, those deals often sell up pretty quickly. Again, don't buy these kits if you need RAM and you need any other component. Only buy them if you just need the RAM, because you can get RAM that's significantly cheaper with the combo deals, but it is good to see these prices come down. And then looking in on 32 gigabyte kits, well, I can find occasionally some deals like this one. This is sold and shipped by Amazon. This is not some crazy third-party seller. This is a DDR5 6000 CL38 kit. Not bad timings in terms of Ryzen or even the new Intel Core Ultra 7 270K or Ultra 5 250K, which don't lose that much performance. $321 right now. Now, I know that's going to sound like still terribly high because it is compared to last year, but if you take a look, here's another Crucial kit here for $360. Yes, Crucial's Micron's brand that they're shutting down basically. And we'll have to see if they're actually going to shut them down here. It would be really, really interesting. Again, 6400 CL38. This is very similar to 6000 CL36 kits that are kind of ubiquitous right now through the market. $360. But just to caution you, I still am seeing a lot of the kits weighted much closer to $370, though we are seeing those lower price kits kind of pop in. All right, let's play everyone's favorite game. Should you buy now or should you wait? Well, honestly, I mean, the whole Sam Altman OpenAI thing just makes my blood boil oil. They basically tried to reserve 40% of the global DRAM production, and then because they didn't even really sign a contract, now they're going to back out of all of it. And that was the first domino that led to the entire crisis happening as everybody panic rushed RAM. All the AI hyperscalers, all the OEMs that make laptops and other consumer products, and consumers like you and I got left in the dust. The good news is we are seeing prices already start to edge down, and I don't even think that has anything to do with the current news that we're hearing just yet, which is good because that means there's a lot further for those prices to go down. But in order for that to happen, they're gonna have to switch, the RAM makers are gonna have to switch from HBM memory over to DDR5, then we'll see prices come down. In the meantime, the question is, would you be better off getting a RAM combo deal at Newegg or Micro Center or at your local retailer instead of waiting until possibly Black Fridays, I think, when we're gonna start seeing these prices come down, maybe like October Prime Day, we'll see significant price reductions. I think we will start seeing price reductions. It's just when are we gonna go from like $400 or $370 for a 32 gigabyte DDR5 kit back to something that approaches some level of sanity, probably at least Black Friday, if not 2027. So I would say if you want to build something anytime in the next year, I still think you're better off grabbing a RAM combo deal because it takes the RAM prices back to 2025 levels. And I don't know if we're going to hit those levels anytime soon. On the one hand, yes, you'll lose some level of customization because you can't just buy the RAM a la carte with whatever motherboard, CPU, etc. On the other hand, you know, they have a lot of different combo deals. You probably find something that you like. So while this is good news overall for the market, for PC gaming, I don't think it's going to materialize if you're just sitting around waiting. I don't think it's going to materialize in enough time, and I would definitely consider buying now. If you do want to wait, certainly understand that, of course, too. Let me know down in the comments, what do you think about all the craziness with the Sam Altman OpenAI deal seemingly falling apart in real time right now? RAM prices seem like they're coming down. Are you buying? Are you waiting? If you got value out of this video, please give it a like, of course, subscribe for more cool PC content. Like, did you check out what's the best CPU for gaming right now? We checked out both the Intel and AMD offerings, including the new Intel Core Ultra CPUs. They look pretty impressive. Check it out, and we'll catch you on the next one.